you a grandchild caregiver? Do you provide daycare for your own grandchildren? You might be surprised to find out just how many grandparents today are caring for their own grandchildren. I provide daycare for my own grandchildren, and I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm also the founder of grandchildcare.com. It's a place to find support, to find resources if you're a grandparent that cares for your own grandchildren. If you're already a grandchild caregiver, I don't think I need to tell you the challenges that you face, the unique challenges. We're all different. Our grandchildren are all different. We're all in different situations. So the challenges are going to be unique, although there will be some common challenges that we can discuss here on this channel. A great challenge is health. For many of us, we just don't have the health that is necessary to keep up with little ones. And of course, that's going to depend on the age of the child. If it's a crawling infant and you have some extreme health issues that you can't bend down to pick up the infant, well, of course, then it's not going to work. So health is another issue, and that becomes more of an issue the more you age. Another challenge might be your age. We become grandparents at different ages now. I became a grandparent very early in my 40s, so I've been doing this for 20 years. But I can see 10 years from now, I'm not sure that I could do this. I'm not sure I'd want to do this 10 years from now. I've been doing it for so long. Another issue that we face is what type of support will we have? Perhaps we have a spouse that is also able to be a grandchild caregiver with us, and that makes it a lot easier. Perhaps they, aren't there all the time, but some of the time. Also, I know in my situation, several times the child's other grandmother or sometimes the grandfather would provide care 1 or 2 days a week, which really gave me some time to actually take care of the other ones that I was taking care of. So sometimes the support can come from your child's in-laws. And we can find support as a community. That's why I developed this podcast, so that we can discuss issues that are common to grandchild caregivers. But for now, I thought that I would talk about the idea of whether or not you should. Maybe you haven't decided whether you should provide daycare for your grandchildren yet. And that's a very good question. I think that it's very important that you don't just run headlong into it. You need to really think it through. And once you decide that, yes, I can do this, and yes, I'm willing to do this, then you need to lay out a plan, because you can't just, you could just show up one day to babysit, but providing regular daycare, perhaps in your home, would then necessitate some changes, right? Because now you have to have a child-safe home, a place where they can play, a place where they can eat without making a huge mess. Now you have to have some food that they can eat. You have to provide some type of entertainment. You have to have some place they can go to outside, whether that be a playground nearby or a backyard. So there's a lot of things you want to set up. And that's just the physical aspect of it, because there's also going to be topics that you're going to want to discuss with the parents of your grandchildren. And that's a whole nother video, but we'll get into that a little bit more. So if you're thinking about, okay, my child, perhaps your daughter is expecting, perhaps she has a little one now that is in a daycare center, the questions you might ask yourself is, number one, why? Why would you provide daycare for your grandchildren? And the answer has to be for my grandchildren. Number one, it has to be for them. Of course, the parents are going to benefit financially. It's going to be much more convenient for the parents. You're going to benefit greatly. I mean, there are studies that show, I think there was a study out of Harvard that shows that grandparents who engage regularly with their grandchildren live healthier lives on average. And it's not just that, but of course you're going to find a lot of satisfaction in having those little darling angels with you every day. And of course, the community benefits as well, because when you help grow strong grandchildren and healthy, happy grandchildren, you're going to benefit the whole community. So there's a lot of benefits to grandparents providing daycare for their grandchildren. Of course, for the parents, probably the biggest is the money that you save them. And if you can do that, that's a gift. That's literally a gift that you're giving to your children and to their children. And that's a beautiful thing. But you do have to be ready to meet the challenges that will come along. And one of the things that you want to do before you decide, and in the planning process really, is to find a way to have a backup. You need a backup person. Now, if you're in a marriage and perhaps your spouse is also able to provide daycare, that's one form of backup. But if you both want to go on vacation or you're both sick, you need some outside source of backup. And what we'll do is we'll include that in another video of how to find the backup. And as I said already, that sometimes it can be the other grandparent that can really be helpful in these situations, or an aunt or a cousin or something like that. Also, you want to make sure that you're on the same page with the parent of your grandchildren, because there's something very unique about your relationship with your children when you start to care for their children. For most of your relationship with your child, say it's your daughter and she has children and you're going to provide daycare for her children. For most of that relationship, you have been the authority figure. When she was a girl, you were the authority figure. You were the one that decided bedtime, snacks, entertainment, what clothes to wear. You were the authority figure. But now that's flipped. Now she's the authority figure over that little angel that you love so much and you're providing care for. Now your daughter really has full authority over her own child, and that's the way it should be. We never want to take that authority away from the parent of the grandchild. And we will, I'm not going to say we may disagree with them at times. I will say we will disagree with them. And it could be many times. And that's something you have to be willing to work through. The parent and the grandparent has to be willing to give and take on that subject. And a lot of it will boil down to respect. For the grandparent to respect the authority of the parent of their grandchild. And then also for that parent to respect the wisdom and the experience that the grandparent has. And then there's also the question of where you're going to provide this daycare. Will it be at the child's home, which will mean that you'll be getting up maybe early and getting out on the road and showing up on time, because that parent has to get to work on time. So you're going to be very responsible in that regard. And if it's bad weather, you're still going to be driving. So you got to think about that. Can you drive in this bad weather to get there? Also, perhaps the parent will be dropping the grandchildren or the grandchild off at your house. And in that situation, of course, you need to make sure your house is a child-safe, child-friendly home. And we'll do another video on that as well. And also, as I'm talking, I'm thinking there is a lot of this kind of information on the website, grandchildcare.com. There's a lot of resources and support on that website. And so those are some of the issues we'll get into in this video series. And another issue that we'll be discussing and perhaps have a full video on is how to take care of yourself. Because now that you're providing full-time daycare for children, you need to have some time to care for yourself. If you don't, you're not going to be able to provide this care for the grandchildren. So caring for yourself will be part of caring for the grandchildren. And also there is the idea of, can you afford to care for your grandchildren? I know in my situation, I provide. I've never charged my children to watch my grandchildren, and the reason for that is I've been able to financially provide, and that's a blessing. It's a huge blessing, and not everyone can do that. But in my case, I've been able to do that, but I must say it's been a sacrifice, because a lot of the things that you might need and want, because now you're retired and you're not working, a lot of the things that you might have thought that you were going to get at this point in life, traveling, all those nice hair appointments and, fancy clothes and vacations and a nicer, bigger home and nicer cars, and all those things. Well, unless you really have a lot of money, those things are going to be probably either put on hold or just eliminated. So you have to think about it. It's going to draw on you financially to a degree. And if you have some type of unique situation and some tips that you might like to share with this community, please leave a comment. If you have a question for the community or for myself, please leave a comment. I will try to get to all the comments. And if you have an idea for a video that you'd like to see, or someone that you'd like to see interviewed, please leave it in the comments. Meanwhile, please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. Like this video. It will really help the algorithm to show this video to more grandchild caregivers so that we can grow our community. And really, we do need to help one another. There's a lot of support that we can give one another, as well as just tips that we can give one another, because, hey, for some of us, maybe we haven't had children in our life for the last 20 years, and suddenly we're caring for little children, and things can we can forget things. So yes, let's support one another. Please leave the comments, please like, subscribe, and share this video with people. And until the next video, I'd like to thank you very much for watching the video, and we'll see you again soon.